video today, very special live stream, which we're covering listings. Who wouldn't want more of those, right? I'm going to share with you the exact ad copy that is being used today very successfully in generating some listing leads. So let me make sure that we are live up in this channel. And as you're coming in, let me know where you're listening from. If you have any questions along the way, this is one of the dense ones. This is one of those that you're going to have to come back over and over again to make sure that you didn't miss a few steps here and there. But as far as going from an idea, concept, a desire to get some real estate leads, we're going to start from that framework, and then we're going to actually launch a campaign through Facebook ads. As mentioned, I'm going to share with you the exact ad that we're gonna that we launch, and also so it's in multiple markets at this point, but it's also one that is, I'm gifting it to you, if you will, because I hear a lot of, hey, buyers, these ads are more for buyer leads and all that stuff. And while you can run ads that specifically bring buyers out of the social media platforms, you also have the ability of generating sellers, homeowners, people that will at least entertain going to market. Who do we have here? Marilyn from New York. Good morning. Hey, I appreciate you. Ooh, I like that that profile pic. Looks like actually I can't see too well, but there seems to be some uniforms in there as well, so I appreciate that. Cool. So again, we're going to cover the exact ad copy, and we're looking at how to get listings with one Facebook ad. So we're going to go through it from beginning to end. So just hang in tight. I think that the audio is fine from what I don't see anybody complaining, and I can hear myself. So we're going to get going. There's no time to waste. As you're coming in, a like is going to go a long way. It's going to help send the notifications out that we are live, cranking out some amazing content. At least that's what I tell myself. So let's go. Cool. So as we're looking at listings, we understand the importance of them. We understand how they gains our time back. We understand that for all intents and purposes, the front end of the work is all front ended, and then the buyer's agent and the buyer do a lot of the work. So I think that they're moving forward. So I think that that's where a lot of the desire comes from, to magnify your business. You're able to leverage listings to generate more business. And also when it comes to that workload, as mentioned, it's that front loaded work that's super appealing. But beyond that, right now in the market that we're in, there's a shortage of listings. So the inventory is just not there. And depending on when you're watching this video, if this is 2000 and whatever, it's the market may have changed, but the principles that we're going to cover today are going to be universal, if you will. So stand the test of time. I think that's a better way of saying it. So with that being said, let's go straight into the screen share. As mentioned, we're doing some Facebook ads, and I'm going to share with you the exact Facebook ad that we're going to be running. So let me get that going, and here we go. Awesome. So you should be able to see me, and you should also be able to see my screen. So this is a demo account that I use to train out of, and this is a very standard ads manager. So to get here, all you have to do is go to business.facebook.com/ads manager, and you're here. So let me repeat that again, business.facebook.com/ads manager. So I like to just type it in and give you the actual URL, because the interface from your personal page when you log into Facebook changes periodically. So as opposed to saying, hey, go to the top right and then click ads or whatever, I just like to start from here and give you the URL. So this is how you get back to your ads manager. Now, one quick distinction before we get launched, before we launch a campaign, make sure that you have a business manager account. Now, I have an entire video on business manager accounts and how to create those, how to create the ad accounts within it, and Facebook profile as well, connected to the business manager account. So I'm taking it from the understanding that you already have a business manager account. If you don't know what a business manager account, then Google it or also search for it on YouTube. You can also look at my channel and see what is needed to create that type of account. The reason I share that is because I want you to create that business manager account because it's going to give you different types of abilities when it comes to targeting, meaning you're going to now be able to upload your database onto Facebook and create a retargeting audience. So that's a huge benefit. Number two, it insulates you from liability. And what that means is if you run your ads from your personal Facebook ad account that everybody gets, let me go back here for a second. If you run ads directly from your personal page, personal ad account that you automatically get account, and that account, that personal ad account gets suspended or banned altogether, then you're out of luck. Then you're out of luck. You won't be able to launch any more ads in the event that you appeal and lose. So by you creating a business manager account, you get to create various ad accounts and thus insulating your personal profile from this complication moving forward, because the hierarchy of events is the ad account that you create, if that gets suspended and you lose, okay, you're always able to create another one. A level beyond that is the business manager account. If your business manager account gets shut down, you're able to create another one as well. But if it comes down to your personal account, if that gets locked down for whatever reason, you're out of luck. You're out of luck. But anyway, that was way more than I wanted to go into it. Just wanted to give you that right off the bat, but let's get going. What we're looking at today is we're going to create a Facebook ad that's going to generate us some leads. And as I mentioned, we're going to go through the exact ad copy. The first step is choosing an objective. This means that there's 11 campaign objectives through Facebook with different goals in mind. Now, you see them in columns. So awareness is getting your name out there, doing that brand reach out there. So you're not necessarily looking for much action from here, meaning you're not looking for people to click. You're not looking for people to submit their information. It's awesome. It'd be great if they do, but at the end of the day, that's not your sole goal. This is just to warm up your audience. Consideration. When you select a consideration objective, then you are expecting some sort of action, whether that's them submitting a lead form, whether that's them sending you a DM, whether that's them installing an app, whether that's them going over to your website, whatever it happens to be, there's some consideration. There's a action that you're expecting. And if you select one of these, Facebook will actually optimize it for whatever it is that you're looking for. So let's just say if you wanted video views, well, it's gonna show your video to people that are likely to watch videos. So it knows that because it's Facebook, but beyond that, it actually sets up the back end. So there's some settings that you can change on the back end that will allow you to make for a better ad because of different features and functionalities that you get with videos. And then conversion is optimizing the actions that have already been taken. So let's just say you send somebody over to your website through the traffic page and you create a conversion, meaning every time somebody goes to your website and gives you their contact information, aka becomes a lead, it now gets that data and goes and finds some other people that are likely to convert. So it's that feedback loop that is created through the conversion. All right, so with that being said, what we're gonna do at this point in time is go through the least path of resistance, which is lead generation. Lead generation, you don't have to worry about landing pages. You don't have to worry about websites. You don't have to worry about much. The only thing that you have to worry about with the lead generation campaign, and I'll go ahead and say it now, is the URL for your privacy policy. Now pay very close attention. This is something that you really need to know. Whenever you select your, well, one, you're gonna need that privacy policy, that's one, but really what you need to know is if you're just putting your random website there or just a URL as a placeholder, that is grounds for termination of your ad account. It's not even gonna get suspended, it's just gonna get flat out banned. So if you think that, well, you know, I won't worry about the privacy policy, you're hurting yourself by having that type of thinking that it's gonna be that easy. Facebook will eventually find out, and then your account is going to get terminated. So avoid that. It's happened, not to me, but several of my clients several times, because it was just too easy to hit next and continue and just put a random website there. So one of the questions that's going to come up is, well, how do I get a privacy policy? One, you can get an attorney to do a privacy policy for you. That's fairly expensive. Two, there's plenty of websites out there that will give you a canned version, high quality, I would say, of a privacy policy specific to your needs. That's a little bit more cost effective. And then three, you can just get the free templates that are out there. So for privacy policies that happen to be floating around. But before you go and look for those three options, so again, either getting an attorney or using a pay for a canned version out there that's a little bit customizable, or just going down the free route that's on the website, on the internet, and you kind of figuring out from there. A lot of your vendors, whether you have a CRM, whether you have a website, whether you have whatever, a lot of your vendors have a privacy policy that you can use. As an example, I have KV Core. So with KV Core, every single user gets a privacy policy. So if you scroll down to the bottom of your page and see a privacy policy link, that is your privacy policy. So there you didn't have to get an attorney, pay for the template, or do a lot of work on your end. So just be aware of that. All right, so with that being said, let's get going. You can name your campaigns out front, because I'm not going to focus too much on the names today. I'm going to go ahead and use my naming convention now. Right there. And then I'm going to go no interest, and I'll explain it once we get going. All right, so what we've done here is the campaign is the objective. This is what we're selecting right now. We're going to hit confirm, and it's going to take us to another screen that is still in the campaign mode. After we get through selecting the campaign, so again, we're doing a lead generation campaign. It's an objective. It's the type of campaign that we're launching. We're going to be at the ad set level. The ad set level is your targeting. So it means where you're running the ad, geographically, who you're targeting, so the people that you're showing your ad to, and then where you're going to place the ad. Is it on Instagram? Is it on Facebook? Is it on Messenger? Is it on Marketplace? So placements. So it gives you that that ability. And then at the ad level, this is what is front facing to the consumer. This is what the consumer is going to see. So whenever somebody is scrolling through Facebook, this is what they ultimately see. They're either going to see a video, they're going to see an image, they're going to see the ad copy, whatever it is that you're advertising and promoting, that's what ends up happening. All right, so that's the campaign, that's the ads, and that's the ad. Now a little bit about my naming convention. Since I manage a lot of accounts, way more than I feel comfortable with at this point, but I manage so many accounts. When I review the ads every single morning, I don't have the time to figure out what I targeted in every single sections on every single campaign. So I use the title to help me out. So I label it a lead. Whenever I put lead, it means that it's a lead generation campaign. So it lets me know the type of campaign, and I carry that all the way through. So it doesn't matter if I'm looking at the campaign or at the ad set or the ad, I know that it's a lead generation campaign objective. Now at the campaign level, I put the type of ad that I'm going to run, which in this case is the just sold. So I just abbreviated JS. But notice I don't put anything in between. What I put when I start putting something else in between is the ad set where I put no interest. So for me, it's a understanding that I don't have an interest selected in the targeting. And it's going to make sense here in 2 seconds. And same thing with the ad. So at any point, I can see who I targeted, the type of campaign that I ran, and the type of ad that I'm running. So let's continue. Now you can name it whatever you want. If it's easy for you to put numbers, put a different identifier, go for it. But this is just something that has helped me out tremendously. Right off the bat, we have to go with the special ad category. Quick reminder, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to drop them in the chat. Also, a like is going to go a long way. It's going to really help out. Send out the notifications that we are on live and absolutely crushing it. All right. Right off the bat, we're met with the special ad category. If you're running credit, employment, housing, or social issues / elections types of ads, you have to select that it's within the special ad category. Now, one of the questions that I get as we go to the housing category is, well, what if I'm just running an ad that I'm branding myself that I'm a realtor? Well, you are still advertising something that has to do with houses. So anything, no matter how you think it's inoffensive or non-housing type of an ad, you're still going to be under the special ad category. I'll give you an example. So I work with a lot of real estate agents. So I speak to real estate agents through my advertising. So my audience is real estate agents. Your audience is buyers and sellers. So for you, you're obviously in the housing, but for me, I have to try very, very hard, and most of the time I am successful in watering down my ads because I'm speaking to real estate agents and it still wants to put me in the housing category. So again, my audience is real estate agents. I'm not offering housing, but because it is within the real estate realm, column, or niche, I have to select housing. So just give you a heads up. All right. I don't worry too much about A/B testing. I do that manually, and you'll see that here shortly. Campaign budget optimization. So by you toggling this on, what you're saying is, hey, I want to select my budget from the campaign level. So you see here we have the campaign, we have the ad set, we have the ad. Campaign, ad set, ad. So from the campaign level, if I select my daily budget here, this means that for the entire campaign, if I do $100, or let's do $50. If I do $50 for the entire campaign, and I split test the ad sets, or if I split test the ads, Facebook itself is going to allocate where that money is going to go. So I could have 10 ad sets, or I can have 10 ads, and it's still going to pull from that $50. So this is you giving the power over to Facebook to feed the traffic or feed the budget to where it thinks is going to perform the best. Now, I've done plenty of split testing with this here, and I'm still 50-50 on it. There's several campaigns where I know I can do better independently of Facebook optimizing my budget, but then there's also times where I just fail miserably and I revert back to the budget being allocated automatically through Facebook. But just to give you my preference, I actually don't go via the budget optimization. I like to control my ad sets and my ads individually. So meaning I am going to allocate $5 to this ad set and $5 to this ad set and $5 to this ad set, as opposed to allowing Facebook to funnel all the traffic into one particular ad set and ignore the others. If you've run ads before, that makes a lot of sense. If you haven't, keep that in mind and come back to this video as you get going. It's going to make a lot more sense. So for our purposes today, I'm going to toggle this off. So remember, if I toggle that on, I get to select it from here. I get to select if I want the daily or lifetime budget. But I'm going to toggle that off so I can show you how we can do this manually at the ad set level. So remember, campaign level, ad set level, ad level, ad set level, and campaign level. So I'm going to repeat that because there's just understanding this framework is going to make your life so much easier. So the campaign, once you select lead campaign, you're good to go. You're not going to be able to change it over to traffic or change it to a videos campaign. You have to start from a different campaign altogether. And remember that the ad set is targeting where you want the ad to run, who you want to run it to, and where what placements you want them to be in. And then the ad level right here, it's the front facing side. So we're going to keep going. Lead method, we're going to use instant forms. We're not going to do an automated chat or calls, which is pretty cool. You're going to want to check that out, where you can put your phone number on the actual ad and people can click on it. So they're taking a page off of Google Ads advertising, where you have been able to call directly through Google Ads for the longest time. But well, we'll keep going because it's not that ad. Page. Select the page that you're advertising from. And if this is the first time that you're running a lead generation campaign, you do have to accept Facebook's lead ads terms of service. So it's just about 8 paragraphs, very simple read. And in it, you're going to see something about the privacy policy that I was talking about, but it's also it's a good practice for you to read through it just to give a basic overview of what you can and cannot do. Because at the end of the day, this is your ad account, right? So don't just accept the terms for the sake of accepting the terms, which you do have to do it in order to advertise, but just be aware that that's a thing. All right, dynamic creative. So think of dynamic creative as an automated way to split test different headlines, split test different images. This works best, for my opinion, best on e-commerce companies where you have multiple shoe sizes, multiple shoe colors, multiple shoe styles. So think of Nike, think of Adidas. It works in that world a lot better. It also works geographically as well. So it changes certain words within the title. Again, they're taking a keyword, not a keyword. They're taking a page off of Google Ads because you've been able to do that dynamic thing forever, basically. Daily budget. Notice that the daily budget came up here now, and that's because I selected that I do not want to optimize from the campaign level. So I now have the ability of selecting the daily budget from here. Had I selected I want to optimize from the campaign level, this option would not be available to me. Now, one of the questions that comes up is, Jaime, I have office hours from X, Y, and Z, and that's really what I want to do. I just don't want to be calling at the middle of the night. I'm not prepared to do that, nor am I willing to do that. So that's no problem. That's no problem. You can adjust when you want your ads to run. So if you go down to more options, you see ads run all of the time. Well, you can edit that. Oops. Give me a second. Almost forgot the important part. When you go to lifetime budget, you can go and edit that. Run ads on a schedule, and now you can select when you want them to run. So if you want them to run Monday through Friday from let's just say 8 in the morning to 12 p.m. for whatever reason, then you can schedule that. But you do have to toggle on the lifetime budget and schedule it from there. So you can see, you select the blocks that you want the ads to run in. All right, so I'm going to unselect that. But yes, you do have the ability of selecting when the ads can run and when they should not run. So again, it just depends on when you want to be available, when you plan to follow up, so you can be more effective with your ads. Now, one thing I will say that about this is I would much rather you not go and schedule this, because starting and stopping your ads kills a lot of momentum. You might have a winner one day and then a complete dud the next day, and it may be the exact same ad. So once you find that winning formula, it's too long to go into how you scale ads, so I'll just give you the abbreviated version. Once you find a winning formula, you don't just double the ad spend, you do it by increments. So I suggest 25 to 50% increments at a time to see if it's still performing well. So that's a little bit inside baseball that I think you can appreciate. So we'll keep going. As far as the audience, this is where you call back your lookalike audience, your custom audience, your saved audiences right through here. So if I click here, you're going to see the people, if I want to retarget people that were on my sample customer list or that visited my page in the last 7 days. And this is Jaime Resendiz Realtor business page. I have the ability of calling that custom audience out with a special ad audience, which is the lookalike version in the special ad category. We're going very in depth here, but I hope that this is making sense. So the special ad audience is basically what the lookalike audience is. where it looks at your custom audiences that you create. So let me back up because it's going to get very confusing. You can upload your database onto Facebook. All right, let's start there. And let me know if you have any questions down below. You can upload your database onto Facebook and create what's called a custom audience. Now, in order to do that, remember you have to create a business manager account. And by the way, I know that there's a lot of information coming at you. So if you're interested in the very sequential where I walk you through every single step, I do have a Facebook ads course that will be linked down below. Totally your call if you want to check it out. Most of you are going to find enough value here to not have to purchase that course, but some of you might want that additional hand holding. Nothing wrong with that. That's why I made the course. But when you upload that custom audience, now when you upload your database, now you have a custom audience. Well, you can now create a special ad audience over here that looks at the individuals here and takes some data points and tries to find some additional individuals that are like your custom audience. So if you're running an ad outside of the special ad category, remember special ad category, credit, employment, housing, elections, or social issues. Outside of that is called a lookalike audience. But since you have to launch an ad within the special ad category, then this is called a special ad audience. So much information. Sorry about that, but I can go about this all day, and that's the danger. So we're going to keep going. All right, so we're going to select where we want to launch this particular ad. And we're going to go here. We're going to go to Dallas. All right, so we're just going to go to Dallas. As you can see here, we have a lot of people that can potentially be reached. And as far as estimated daily results, don't worry about that. This is, in the history of ever, is never going to be right. Just be, because we're going to make some adjustments that while you see 0 leads here or less than 10 leads here, doesn't mean anything. And you're going to see this go to 0 here in about 2 seconds. But never has that ever occurred whenever I launch an ad. So just be aware that these estimated daily results are very inaccurate. I really don't know why they have it. But I think the most valuable aspect here is the reach. The leads portion, they're just giving you a number for the sake of giving you a number. Now, when I go to detailed targeting, it's important to recognize, well, let's back up. Here's what happened whenever you selected the special ad category. You cannot go any smaller than a 15-mile radius. So that's how you get to 2.7 million people in Dallas. So that's one change that happens. Age, you can't do anything with age. Everybody 18 and above, it's going to get this ad. That fits within certain criteria. Gender, male or female, you cannot select either. So you have to select all. When it comes to your targeting, you cannot target people demographically, meaning if they're parents or if they're homeowners. You cannot do that. Interest, you can target based off of interest, so what somebody is interested in, and you're going to see some examples today. Behaviors, you're not able to do that. So back in the day, and I'm talking about 3-4 years ago, you were able to select people that were likely to move. Literally, that was an option, likely to move. So as you can see how easy it was to generate leads back then, and it still is now if you know the formula, and thankfully you're here and you will. But behaviors is no longer on the table. So what we have the ability of doing now is split testing based off of interest. So you're going to see this 2.7 million drastically drop when I look for Zillow. So Zillow is an interest, Truly is an interest, Homes.com is an interest, mortgages is an interest, credit is an interest, loans is an interest. So you see it went from 2.7 to 340, and as I mentioned to you earlier, this is going to go down to 0. It's irrelevant, doesn't matter, forget that ever happened. So now when I go to Zillow, if I was going to, we'll do that now so you kind of see my naming convention. I would put Zillow here, and then since I'm going to run the Dallas ad, I'll just go 15, Dallas 15, oops, what is it? Oh, there we go. Dallas 15 Zillow. So what I'm telling myself now is I'm targeting Dallas, 15-mile radius with Zillow. And I do a lot of shorthand here because there's a consistent way that I run ads that I don't have to, replicate everything here, but just giving you a bit of how we do these things internally. Now, if I wanted to reduce this even more, because reaching 340,000 people, it's going to take several $1,000s to be effective. So what we're going to do is narrow the audience. And we also want to say, hey, I want you to be interested in Zillow, but I also want you to be interested in Trulia. And that dropped down to 96,000 people. And then you get the ad set, may get 0 leads. Don't worry about that. Forget that ever happened. They're wrong. So this is how we reduce the audience. Now, if I wanted people that were interested in Zillow and or Trulia, I would just continue adding to my interest right here. So it's an and function. It's not an or function. I'm sorry, it's an or function, not an and function. This is an and function. So if I wanted people that were interested in Trulia or Zillow and I go to homes.com, that's going to drop down again. So I hope that makes sense. So for our purposes today, we're going to leave it at Zillow. When it comes to placements, I encourage this placement or the placements to be split tested as much as you can. Now, I wouldn't start here with to split testing. The hierarchy of split testing goes as follows. You want to split test the ad first. So what is it that you're offering? The image, the ad copy, your offer, that's your ad. You're split testing your ads there. The second thing that you want to split test is your targeting. So you're targeting when it comes to the interest, because you're able to control that. People that are interested in Zillow may perform incredibly well, but people that are interested in Trulia may be performing even higher. So you never know. So that's why you're split testing in every single market. Where in some markets, we run a similar ad like this, which we have this quite a bit. I think it was in South Carolina is where we ran this, right outside of Charlotte. Is Charlotte in South Carolina? Am I dreaming? Where's Charlotte? Wherever Charlotte is. Jeez. It's going to bug me. Where is Charlotte? I'm sorry. Is that how you spell it? North Carolina. Sorry, I didn't mean to offend any South Carolinas or North Carolinas, Linians or whatever you call yourselves. We ran a campaign there where whenever we split tested the interest with the same ad copy, it had a $12, I think was one where we ran some money to, and it was $12 per lead versus I think we ended up averaging like $2.30. Maryland North. Hey, thanks for coming in. I appreciate you. You know what's funny? This is me reliving the days that I peaked back in back in junior high and elementary. I won first place in maps, graphs, and charts. So I'm embarrassed at my old elementary self. And I won first place in number sense, 4th grade, 5th grade, and 6th grade. What's up? As you can tell, I've been mildly unsuccessful since then. I peaked, guys. So thank you for coming in clutch with that. Appreciate y'all. All right, so let's get going. Enough of my ignorance. Placements, as I was alluding to earlier, this is really the third place that you're going to split test. So remember, you're going to split test your ads first, your ad copy, your image or video, and the offer that you're making. So those are three categories within that. And then you also come back over here and split test your interests. And then lastly, you split test your placements. The reason that we do this lastly is because you don't have an infinite amount of money to run to this. I'm assuming, unless you're independently wealthy, and I have no idea why you're watching this video if you're infinitely wealthy and trying to launch a Facebook ad. But the reason we save placements for last is because as far as meaningful action when it comes to the split testing that we do, that's the hierarchy of our events. Some of you are able to spend $10 a day, which is the minimum that I require you. Not require you. The agents that join me, I require them to spend $10 a day, minimum, to split test several elements. So I encourage anybody that's looking to launch ads, at least invest $10 in your a day in your business, which equates to $300 a month. Try that out for 3 months, which if we make that 3-month commitment, it's $900. I think that whether you have that or not, I think it's a worthwhile investment for you to make in your business. So one of the questions that comes up is, well, how much do I spend in ads? Well, it depends, whatever budget you have. But at the end of the day, I suggest that if you're going to split test and see meaningful action in your business to keep you busy, to be able to generate business out of it at a consistent level, you need at least $10 a day. So with that being said, with $10 a day, I cannot split test the ad, I cannot split test the interest, and I cannot split test the placements all at once, because I have to split test things individually. So I can't change multiple factors at once. So I can't split test the ad, I can't split test the interest, and I can't split the placements all in one new campaign, because that's not called a split test. That's just called you guessing. So we're going to keep going. Those placement that I suggest to start the split testing, assuming you have enough capital to do so. Marilyn, no worries, you're doing great. Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you. Placements where I would start would be the Facebook news feed, and then compare that versus the Instagram feed. So these two are going to be split tested together. These two are going to be split tested together, or a better way of saying it is one versus the other. So Instagram stories versus Facebook stories. That's where you're going to be split testing. And as you might have known, if you've been watching this channel for a bit, I showed you how to run Instagram Reels when pretty much the week that they came out. So you're going to want to check that video out, because now, as you can see here, so I used to have a count. So let's see, 4, 6, 10, 14, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 27 placements. Nope, I'm wrong. I have to subtract. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20 placements. Back in my day, there were 7 placements. So now you have so many different placements, and don't be surprised when they add 5 more next year, because there's additional placements. So placements means where they're going to show up, where your ad is going to show up. We're running it only in the feed right now. So when people are scrolling through their phone, that's what we're looking for. So that's a little bit about placements. And check this out. You can select which devices you want, right? You can select only when connected to Wi-Fi. Now you may be thinking, well, Jaime, what does anybody need to be connected to the Wi-Fi? Well, if you're running an app ad, most people are not going to download an app unless they're connected to Wi-Fi. Still, in the future, that won't be a thing, because the data plans are going to get a little bit more generous. But these are considerations that they're microscopic. I fully acknowledge that, but it's good to be aware. It's good to be aware. And now the next time somebody asks you about Facebook ads at the dinner party, you can impress them with your knowledge. Hey, did you know that you can advertise only when people are connected to Wi-Fi? Yeah, please don't do that, because no one's going to talk to you if you go and say that. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go with Dallas 15 Zillow -JS, so just sold. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to bring it over here, and notice that I can go back and forth as much as I want. So again, campaign, ad set, ad. All right, we're almost there, folks. We're almost there. The prize is near. All right. Facebook page, that's locked in. You already selected the Facebook page at your ad set level. You already selected that over here. You can advertise on Instagram. You can add your Instagram, but first you're going to need to add the Instagram placement, which we did away with at our ad set level. So we said, hey, we only want to advertise somewhere here. Here we go. On our feed, on our Facebook feed. But so we don't have to worry about linking up our Instagram. Even if you were launching an ad on Instagram, you don't need to attach your Instagram page. That's something that a lot of people don't know. So you don't need to connect your Instagram page if you don't want to. You can actually launch the ad from Facebook. It's going to show on Instagram. The moment that they click through, since this is a lead form, it's going to come back to us anyway. So there's no need for you to do that. Folks, as a quick reminder, as you're coming in, a like is going to go a long way. It's going to help send out notifications for those people that do want to be informed of this going on, but also more importantly, that want to make money, because I am about to show the ad copy. All right, so when it comes to the media, you can, I'll trash this so you see it. We can add an image. I skipped a step. When you create your ad, you can select one that you've already created on your mockup. The creative mockup, I actually don't use it, but you're free to use it. It's a way for you to get your drafts out there and then pull them up. I don't use it. I don't know why, but I just don't. Single image or video or carousel. When you use a single image, kind of what you saw previous to me deleting that, you had an image and I was about to add a video, but I didn't, and we'll kind of come back to that. Or you can use a carousel ad, which has individual cards. So you can you start off with 3 individual cards. You can add more if you want, but here you have individual headlines, individual descriptions, along with individual images. So you have that ability of showing what's going on. So this works great. Just giving you some insider secrets. This works great with new construction because there's different models that you can highlight. You can highlight the 2 stories, the 1 stories, the ones with pool. Well, builders don't sell with pools unless they're custom. Different floor plans. The carousel ads absolutely crush it with new construction because you're able to showcase different styles of homes. But for our purposes today, we're going to stick with single image, and I'm just going to pull a random one off of here, just an image. Now, if I go to original, it's going to size it, or if I do the one-on-one aspect. So when it comes to ratio, what I recommend that you do is go to Canva and select one from the resize your images if you don't know how to resize. But here, the original, this looks fine. The one-on-one, if the house was a little bit further back, I'd be able to get away with this, but I can't. So I have to take a larger shot from further back, or a wider shot is the correct terminology. All right, so now that we have an image, we get to the ad copy. How about that? All right, so what you're about to see right here is called the just sold ad. Now, this is something that you're going to have access to if you want to send me an email to admin@JaimeResendiz.com. So admin, so ADMIN, ADMIN. Yeah, that's it, MIN. Yeah, admin@JaimeResendiz.com. If you want to know how to spell my name, it's in the channel somewhere, channel name. So just admin@JaimeResendiz.com, and I'll send you the entire blueprint where you're going to get this exact ad copy, but also some steps that you need to follow after the leads come in, because that's actually where you're going to start making money. Alrighty, so let's see what's going on. I love the fact that you can go to any geographical area. Thank you. I was unaware. There you go. There you go. What about stacking up 8 to 10 interests? I would recommend against doing that. Great question though. And here's what this question's asking. What about, this is what Usama is asking. What about stacking up 8 to 10 different interests? So what I'm assuming that you're asking, just get rid of that. Actually, I'll do that. What I'm assuming you're asking is stacking up these interests. So if I type in Trulia, if I type in, I should have just gone to suggestions. So if you go to suggestions, it'll give you like interest. If I stack these audiences, these targeting audiences, your number it's going to go up, but really it's not going to help you all that much, considering that if you run an ad to all of these interests, the issue becomes trying to replicate it. So what's to say that the 10 leads that you got weren't all from people that were interested in homes.com? Well, if you stacked all these together, you would have no way of knowing that. If you stacked everything in together, then you're not going to be able to split test and see, hey, whenever I run a ad to people that are interested in Zillow, I have this type of result. Whenever I target people in Trulia, I have this type of result. So while I understand where you're coming from, Usama, about stacking 8 to 10 interests, you're working against yourself by doing that because you're not receiving meaningful data. Hopefully that makes sense. Now let's talk through this ad copy real quick. So city homeowner. So here you would just replace, this is not dynamic, by the way. This does not automatically change. This is just so you see visually where you need to change the ad copy in your neck of the woods. So Dallas homeowner, are you curious if now's the right time to sell? Well, the owners of, and here use a general address. We're not trying to dox people, even though it's publicly available information, just a general area. So if there's a trendy spot in the area that you happen to identify we'll talk about the property that you select here shortly. Then if it's Bishop Arts, if it's downtown, if it's Deep Ellum, these are all uptown. These are all common areas that if you ran an ad to Dallas, people would know what that means. So you're looking at a general address, or you can put on Birdview Street, whatever. You're trying to create a level. You're trying to create a level of local feel to it. So you're trying to create a local feel to it that helps you connect with the people that you're advertising to a little bit closer, because remember, you're advertising to a 15-mile radius. If you're in a very densely populated area, which Dallas is, you're talking to 2.7 million people. So you're trying to create that proximity. Well, the owners of of the house on Bishop Arts thought the same thing and sold. And then here you would put a percentage above asking price or the amount above asking in a certain amount of days with a certain amount of offers to choose from. Now, let's continue going. Want to know if your house could achieve similar results. So here's what you're doing with this. You're making the market tangible to somebody. You're making the real estate market tangible to somebody watching or scrolling through and seeing your ad, as opposed to saying, now's the right time to sell your house because of X, Y, and Z. Sell your house. Contact me. As opposed to saying that, you're providing some local feel by putting the general address, and then you're contextualizing or providing some more something more tangible for somebody to digest based off of how the market is going, if you will. So here you're looking for a property, whether it's a property that you sold or one that has been sold in the past. So just make sure that regardless of the state, regardless of the brokerage, you know your rules. I know what I believe, but on what you can and can't do when it comes to advertising. So just make sure that, again, that you're following your state regulations and also your brokerage regulations, because I'm not going to get into the middle of that. Use your judgment, but just giving you an idea of, if this is your listing, what you can do is share a little bit about how much above asking you received for this particular home. Let's just say $40,000 above asking in 3 days with 12 offers to choose from. That's a compelling argument. And they want to know if your home could achieve similar results. Well, yes, I do. I do want to know. So that's a little bit about the ad and the way that it's written. So then the headline, you would just put something like just sold, could you sell for more? This is totally up to your discretion. I don't really take too much stock into the headlines or the descriptions, but you're just trying to provide a different feel. Well, not different feel. You're trying to fill this spot up, because if you leave this open, it's going to look pretty blank. All right, so a call to action, I always go with learn more. As you're creating your form, so remember, this is a lead generation campaign. If you ran a traffic campaign, if you ran a messages campaign, if you ran a views campaign, if you ran a different type of campaign, you would not have the ability to create a form. A form is somebody that stays, that's going to keep your audience here on Facebook. So make sure that you comply to their rules and regulations. So notice that they are taking this very seriously. We're going to go to settings. We're going to open it up. I'm going to go a little bit quicker now. So the form configuration, always make sure that you open up your ad so people can share it and always and be able to tag other people to your ad. So let's just go through an example. If I open up the sharing mode, if somebody tags a friend on my ad, my friend is now able, their friend, I'm sorry. Let me backtrack. If somebody tags their friend on my ad, their friend can now submit their information and I collect it. That's pretty cool, right? But what's even cooler is I don't pay for that. That's an action that was not taken by my ideal avatar or the people that was actually receiving my ad. So that's pretty cool. A lot of people don't realize that, so they leave it in restricted mode. So people cannot share your ad, so people can't tag other people in your ad, or they can tag them, but they can't submit their form. So just make sure that you go over here to your settings and open that. That won't get you, in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to get you more than 2% additional leads, but that's 2% that you get for free. Alrighty, so lead form, you just name it something that you're going to remember. So you just put just sold Dallas as an example. More volume or higher intent. So with the higher intent option, add a review step that gives people a chance to confirm their info. Don't do that. Just don't. Just go with more volume. The reason I say that is because simply by them clicking again doesn't necessarily mean that they have higher intent. If they're going to ghost you, they're still going to ghost you. That's what's going to happen. So I would much rather have more people give me their contact information and me exhaust my virtual assistants, my emails, my texts, my personal efforts in trying to have a conversation with these folks. So I would not go with higher intent. Use the image from your ad. That's pretty standard for me. Use the same image as your ad. So the general rule of thumb here is don't introduce a different variable on your forms than what you put in your ad copy. As an example, if in your ad copy you put a list of homes, list of one-story homes in Dallas, Texas, as an example. Well, here I'm not going to start adding, and then there's 3-story homes, and then there's second 2-story homes, and all this other stuff. No. I got you to this point because I offered you a list of homes that were a single story. I'm not going to introduce a different, radically different element here at the final stage and change up what got me here. So here I would just regurgitate pretty much what I said in the ad copy. So just sold, and then highlight again the characteristics of it, certain amount above asking, certain amount of days on the market, and a certain amount of offers. So that's what I would do there. Now, what you can do as well, though, as we're talking about split testing, what you can do is experiment with removing the greeting. So you don't have to send them here. You can remove the greeting altogether and just get straight to it, right? So you can add a greeting or remove it. This is something that is very split testable. From my experience, most of the time we perform better with the greeting. Most of the time. Not always, but most of the time. And what I like to do when it comes to collecting people's information, I know we would love to have everybody's phone number, email, blood type, social security number, address, how much they owe on the home, how likely they are to sell, all that fun stuff. I understand that. Who wouldn't want that? That'd be silly not to. But really, all you need is an email and a phone number, or a phone number. I don't even need the first name. I just add that because the CRMs that we integrate with, they require a field here. So if I send them an email, if I send them a phone, if I call them, I'm going to eventually get to their name if they're interested, or if I engage them enough to have a conversation. So I technically don't need the first name. So if you start adding additional criteria, if you start adding, I need your last name, I need your job title, I need your work email, I need your whatever, be prepared to not get that many leads. So here we would put, can I send you more details? Boom. One quick note, you can add custom questions. You can add custom questions. Just be prepared to get your ad rejected several times, because whenever we created that form, if you remember, it's asking us not to discriminate. And by you creating custom audience, I'm not saying you're going to discriminate, but there's certain things that you cannot ask for. You cannot ask for credit. You cannot ask for if they're homeowners. There's a certain way that you need to ask these things in order to receive that additional information that you might find important to you. So how much money do you have for down payment? What is your timeline? Those you can very easily get all the way through. But if you add some qualifying questions like what's your credit, that's gonna get rejected. So just be aware of that. Privacy. So remember that link that I talked about, that you can hire an attorney or create or buy a cookie cutter templated privacy policy, or find one on the internet, or use one from your vendors, whether that's your CRM vendor or your website vendor. This is where the link is going to go. So I would just put the link. I'll just put my name or my website, and I'll put privacy policy. And then keep it moving. Completion. So things are all set. You can visit our website or exit this form now. So what I like to do is, want to chat now, call business, and then call now, and then put my phone number. So that way, whenever they went through the funnel, they have the ability of calling you directly. Less than 10% of the people that submit their contact information to you, we're going to call you directly. However, that's less than 10% of the people that you're going to have to hunt down that actively came to you. Great tip on not asking about credit. Thank you. You're welcome. I appreciate you. All right, so I'm not going to save this because there's no way to delete a form. So I'm not going to hit publish, but once you're through, you're going to hit publish. And if you missed a field, it's going to raise a little exclamation mark saying, hey, you missed this field. But you can also see your lead form right here. So as you can see, it's acting like a landing page, but you're keeping everybody on Facebook. So the reason I suggest that you go with the lead generation campaign is because you don't have to worry about landing pages. You have people's confidence, or more of their confidence, because they get to stay on Facebook as well. And this is the easiest path to implementation. I could have easily showed you how to create a very sophisticated funnel on the platform of your choosing and then launch the traffic campaign, but we would still be on the traffic. We would still be on the landing page creation. So we don't have time for that, or at least I don't. So if you do, then check out the course that's linked down below, Facebook Ads Mastery for Real Estate Leads, where I have over 8 hours worth of content that walks you through every single thing. If you had no idea what Facebook was, you would by the end of it. Alrighty, so with that being said, all you have to do is hit publish and keep it moving. Once you hit publish, it's going to start launching the ad. So I'll leave it here just in case you want some time to copy the ad copy. If you have any questions about this or running any ads, well, actually, let me share my screen or share myself. If you have any questions about this or launching any types of ads, let me know in the comments section down below. If you have any feedback for this video, if you have any different types of content in this channel, we're reworking a lot of the things that we do now. So I really recommend and encourage as much feedback as value. Please be sure to hit the subscribe button. I always appreciate that. But outside of that, it's been fun. I know we've been through a journey together, about an hour's worth of a journey. So since you put up with me for this long. I want to reward you. Remember, if you go to if you send an email to admin@JaimeResendiz.com, I'm going to give the ad copy that you saw here, so you don't have to write it down, the exact ad copy, along with the follow-up sequence that's going to actually convert these leads for you, because this is just the front end. You still need to launch this ad. You still need to split test. You still need to do some adjustments. But as the leads come in, you still need to know what in the heck needs to happen. And that's what I cover in that email that our team actually will respond back. All right, folks, been a fun day. Let me know if I can be of any service down the